If you can hear me, if everything's sounding all right, let me know. And we're waiting on Instagram. And Instagram says we're live. Jared Allen, Chantel 1984, Tully, Christina. Wow, this is so rad. You guys are all here. This is great. So far, I don't think we have any complaints that you do. Tally's like, let's rock. You got your coffee? You ready to go? I love it. This is great. Guys, I'm feeling probably more optimistic today than I have in quite a long time. Jared, I'm good, man. I'm great. I'm feeling optimistic. Freaking! I finally figured out time zones. Well, welcome to the show. All right, guys. So yes, I'm incredibly optimistic. Well, I would say more so than I have been, and I think a lot of that had to do with letting go of the old normal. Yes, I think it was the minute I let go and started focusing on the new normal was when I started to feel better. I felt lighter. I felt I could start making plans. And then as I started moving forward, just things started to get better. So I'm really excited about this. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about a first. Yesterday, well, there's been a lot of firsts with this. As you guys know, I started doing this when COVID hit, and I've been doing this on a daily basis on weekdays at 8:30. And I have been fumbling through tech. I have been fumbling through social media platforms. I have been fumbling through this whole process and have documented all of it for you guys. And I appreciate that. And it has been an adventure. You guys have certainly had Celeste, and we got some coffee from Rack who have been enjoying the show. And please get your random act of kindness coffee. They've been great. And that was a first. And here's another first. Yesterday, I had to block somebody. Now, I know that that's not going to be the first time I'm going to have to block somebody. But I will say it took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it. But now, here's how we're going to deal with trolls. If you just come on the stream to yell obscenities or tell me what I think or just yell that I'm wrong or call me names, I'm just going to block you. I don't need you. And our discussion group doesn't need you because that's what this show's about. This show is about perspective. This show is about discussion. And for all of you, all these shows, the whole lot of them are archived on our YouTube channel. So you can watch from the very beginning of what this process has looked like. As a lot of you know who've been with me since this journey, it was certainly eventful. And as I have cameras falling and just the usual growing pains. And with that, it's all there for you guys. And I'm going to continue to do it. And we're going to have a lot more fun. The Hustling Loafer, I really appreciate your recruitment efforts. It's much appreciated. YouTube is going on. That's not a monster puppet, Jennifer. That is Animal. He is the drummer. So YouTube is quite lively this morning, and I'm loving it. Yes, blocking helps. This is going to go into my first topic. And somebody wrote in, and they're saying, how do you stay motivated to continue your efforts during COVID? And first and foremost, you got to make sure that you're doing things that you enjoy. You have to build some structure. And then you eventually get to a point through doing things that you enjoy doing that it actually becomes fun. There are growing pains learning anything. There are growing pains learning the guitar. There's growing pains in learning a language. There are growing pains in me coming on here and doing this live for you guys every day. Now, but part of that is that there's just too much distraction. You have to do social media audits. You have to make sure that you got to clean it up. You got to get rid of the stupid media that is pumping fear mongering and division and hatred towards your way. You got to get rid of all the video game crap that's in your feed. You could get an ad blocker. Once I had done that, it was a lot easier to be motivated because the only things that were left in my life were the things that matter. On my social media feeds, the only things that mattered was the actual friends who were adding to my life. And this comes up. This is another thing with blocking. Since the pandemic has started, Facebook has turned into it's a wasteland. I didn't know so many of my music rocker friends were epidemiologists. And you can imagine the insanity that they were placing up. Well, that insanity has an effect on you that's usually negative. If it makes you angry enough and fires you up to do something, that's one thing. But for most of us, that puts us in a state of being upset, of being sad, of being dismayed, of general apathy, of numbing ourselves to the things that bring us joy. And if you've numbed yourself to the things that bring you joy, then you're setting yourself up to continually beat yourself down. You have to set up a runway for yourself to be motivated, to be inspired, to want to create. Creating's not easy. Creating's difficult. You got to be in an inspirational mood to sit down and go through the efforts of expressing yourself. That just doesn't happen. Now, there are those people who seem prolific at drawing and writing and all the other things that they do. And that's great. But you have to realize that the sliding scale that we are all on as human beings, that some of us need more encouragement to be able to create, to get motivated, to inspire ourselves. And if your news feeds is just garbage, negativity, hatred, loony conspiracy theories, that is going to take away from the only spirit that you have left. I mean, what we're dealing with right now, the social and emotional and mental experiment that is the pandemic and being quarantined that has been thrust upon all of us is already doing its job to wreak havoc on our own well-being. And if you got a social media feed or you are being influenced or exposed to stimuli that is this adding to all the other terrible events that is going on right now with people getting sick, people losing their jobs, businesses going under, our social lives crumbling before our eyes, and then being put in a general state of uncertainty and fear just from the pandemic itself, and then expose yourself to just a toxic news feed? Well, of course you're not going to be inspired. Of course you're not going to find energy to continue on with your routines and your schedules and to be inspired to create. You just don't sit down and start drawing works of art. You don't just sit down and start writing beautiful melodies. You don't just start down and journaling and writing and coming up with a story that is moving. That takes time, effort, inspiration, motivation, admiration. It takes all of the good chemicals in your body to thrust you into that creative state. Have you ever noticed that a lot of artists tend to live in sort of eclectic ways in order to peak max creativity and inspiration? That's why they do it. It's such a fickle thing. You don't want to do anything to stifle that. And then what we're dealing with right now, you need to be able to create. You need to be able to be inspired. You being inspired is going to inspire other people. We need everybody thinking in the right direction of positivity, inspiration, admiration, excitement for what the future brings and what it can bring, rather than gloom and doom and negativity and everything that is falling apart around us. We have enough of that. We're human beings. We get sucked into fear and drama, trauma, and garbage. It allows us some solace when we're not doing the things we need to do in our own lives to move them forward and to fire them up and fire ourselves up. We can't. And all of us right now, despite what the media is trying to do, despite what our political parties are trying to do, we as people need to do our part to be inspired, to motivate, to be at our best, to be healthy, to exercise, because we are leaders in and ourselves of how we want the people in our general surroundings to behave. If I come on here and I'm able to fire up any of you guys, well then think about the ripple effect of how that affects your own life. We need everybody working together. This is a global pandemic. We can't have all this negative garbage entering in our lives. And I got to tell you guys, people write me and they're like, how are you so motivated to do all this with not being so technically savvy, without being to wake up, and where do you come up with all this content? How do you get fired up every morning to do what you're doing? I got to tell you, because I've carefully audited my life so that I don't have this negativity. So I'm not fighting an uphill battle. In fact, I wake up excited to go live for you guys. Why? Because it's fun. It's the best part of my day. I get fired up on coffee. I get animal together here, and we rock and roll for you guys. Why? Because the ripple effect of the change that I might be able to create for you guys, and then the lives that you're going to affect. This is guys, the Art of Charm is not just a podcast. It's a movement for all of us to take part in, and self-development, to be our best, to create a ripple effect, to inspire those around us to create. We are going to be moving into a new world where your energy is going to have an impact on the world that we build after having the apple cart forcibly tipped over on all of us. Well, if you didn't like the way it was moving previously, this is all of our chances to grab the reins and build it and mold it into something that that we can be proud of, that we can bring our children into and say, hey, I was a part of this change. This is what we built. I mean, that's what else are we doing here? I didn't wake up today to have a humdrum, boring ass Friday. I woke up today to fire myself up, to fire you guys up, to create, to motivate, to inspire, and to just have a good time. This is a historical moment. Granted, it's not us landing on Mars or something to be able to celebrate, but you have to look at it through a perspective that allows you to control how you feel in the moment. And right now, as I said, I'm starting to feel optimistic as I have let go of the way things were and this silly notion, the silly childlike notion of returning to the world that we used to have. I have grown up. I have let go of that earlier in the week. It was Sunday it happened. And by Friday, I'm on cloud 9. Let's do this. Let's build a new world for ourselves that benefits more of us. That's not a monster. That's animal. Have you guys not seen the Muppets? He plays the drums. He is my drummer. He is holding down the backbeat of the new world that we are going to create. He is my co-host. If you guys dig my co-host, give him some hearts. Tap some hearts on Instagram and let him know that you guys appreciate him and quit calling him a monster. God, the hell's wrong with you guys? You got to quit with the negativity and we got to get moving forward here, guys. All right. So that's where I was today. That's about the motivation. And then let me also let you guys in on this. Look at that, animal. Those hearts are for you, buddy. Those hearts are for you, animal. So here's another one. Some of us were sheltered now, Alan. Jared, listen, man, I've been fighting it too. I found a way to escape every day and get out of my house to break up the day. And I think that has also had an incredible effect on how I'm feeling today. If you guys go, for you who are just joining, who are wondering who is this stock raving mad rocker dude, go to YouTube, go to my other videos, and you can see at the beginning of the week that things were a little bit, I was definitely in a mood. And this is affecting all of us. The reason I was going live was to show you guys that we're all in this together. I live by myself. I need this opportunity to connect as well. The part about creativity is it is a form of communication in which you are getting feedback. It's asynchronous communication. You create, you put it out there, and then people comment on that. People give you feedback. And this is why it's important that you block the trolls. Tally, we got the same hair, dude. But this is why it's important to block the trolls. Because if you're going to create, if you're going to throw it out there, you can ask for critique, but for somebody to just give you shit about it, well, what are they doing in their lives? They only wish that they were able to be free and brave and courageous enough to jump in the arena and take the ass kicking that is creating, that is learning, that is putting yourself out there to be better. Putting yourself out there to be better and creating is about getting your ass kicked. That's how you continue to get better and create better stuff. This, I want you guys also to realize that the influence that you have around you, it's not something that is completely negative and you notice it and then you brush it away. It is a boiling of the frog. It's the little chirping of negativity and snide comments and drama filled garbage that slowly starts to eat away at your human spirit, your lust for life. That lust in life, once it's gone, you have to work to get that back. You have that in spades as a child. That is your childlike innocence. But as you get older and the more damage that you sustain through life, the more that lust for life gets chipped away. But you can bring that back. You can get excited. You can push the negativity to the side. You can do an audit of your friend circle and see who's adding enjoyment and inspiration and admiration into your life. That's right, Tully. That is damn straight. It is lust for life, Iggy Pop. That's what I'm talking about. You think I'm going to have this haircut and not know who that Iggy Pop is? I've probably seen Iggy Pop more times than you can count. I've definitely seen enough Iggy shows. So anyway, it was about this boiling of the frog, the slowly of chipping away at your lust for life, of that childlike innocence that you have in spades, that if you allow the negativity and drama filled awful people will slowly take. I show my age every day on this show, Tully. But, if you're not waking up fired up, then you need to start asking some hard questions and start being honest with yourself with some hard answers, because you can begin to make the changes to bring back that lust for life. It doesn't take much, but you have to be diligent on it. If you continue to expose yourself to those negative forces, you're going to be left with nothing. And it's in human nature to take the things that allow us to feel good. And if you have low value people around you, and I'll talk about low value people next week, but if you have low value people around you, their first priority is, how do I get myself to feel better? And if you have what will allow them to feel better, they will go to take it without any questions. And if you give it to them without being able to get that back, you are on the losing end of that deal. Imagine going through life and being somebody who has a hard time setting up boundaries. Life will have its way with you. And then you'll be left feeling apathetic, unmotivated, depressed, stressed out. Life is too short for all of that. We have our opportunity every day that we are alive and that we are awake in order to make these things happen. So as we let go of the old world and as we charge forward into the new normal, let's all do our best to make it a place that we're excited about waking up to every day. It's going to take some work. Things are still uncertain, but I am optimistic, and we have our best and our brightest working on the situation. It has been a few months in, and we are going to get some great news. We're going to put some things together, and as a nation and as a global society, we are going to work through this, my friends. And thank you for tuning in today. I have to go to our Art of Charm network and say hello to the folks over there. If you're interested in any of that, you can always hit me up As always, you want to deepen your connections. You want to grow your network. You want to learn the skills of persuasion and emotional bids and elicit the right emotions to open up your networks and deepen those connections. Well, check out the Art of Charm's Communication Accelerator. It is in the link tree on Instagram. It is in the Twitter bio, and you can find it on our website, The Art of Charm Communication Accelerator. It is all the best bits from our online classes, from our live training programs, and all of our expert guests on the podcast for over the last 15 years. Get that stuff. Let's talk about it. Let's do some great, great, great things. With that, guys, I want you guys to all have a wonderful Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Reach out, connect to the people who matter, who are adding to your life, and let's drop the dead weight, guys. We don't need it in our lives. We have a brand new world to create, and we need all of our energy. I will see you all next week.